Good morning. This is B.Sc Zoology class, semester 1, paper 4, environmental biology. In this, we are discussing today acid rain. We're discussing acid rain from the air pollution, major topic air pollution, and that subtopic is acid rain. This is earlier only we have discussed lot many different pollutant responsible for air pollution. In this, that different pollutant of air pollution cause impact on quality of rain, and particularly acidic rain water falls from the sky as a reason of air pollution. That we will see today in this presentation. So basically, acid rain is when the pH of rainwater is low than 5.6. That kind of rainwater is called as acid rain. And if such raining happen which has a water pH lower than the 5.6, it is a term as a acidic rain. Now this happen, the basic reason is presence of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides and some traces of ammonia and chlorine present in air. If these four components are present in large quantity as a pollutant in an environment, that leads to the acidic nature of rain falling from the sky. And because of these four components, chemical components in a air pollutions, that lead to the lower pH of rainwater, and that falls on the earth, and then it cause many ecological impact and effects on the different organisms on earth, including vegetations, aquatic as well as terrestrial organisms. So this it is also called as a deposition of acid along with the rain. So acid rain refers to the deposition of acidic component in either wet forms or dry forms. It is not um, always, it is not termed with the raining, but sometimes that droplets are form of acids, and that settle over the different objects on earth like plants or some monuments or the organisms. That is the dry form of acid rain. It is defined by the pH of a liquid. If less than 7 pH is acidic, more than 7 is a basic. This is a basic pH concept. But if the water of a rain has pH less than 7, then we term it as a acidic rain. So natural acid rain can be caused by the volcanic emissions and biological processes. Naturally also acid rain falls if nearby there is a volcanic eruption, emissions occur that produce lot of gases coming through the volcanic either emissions, and that lead to the natural acid rain. The clean rain has a natural acidity of about 5 to 5.2 on the pH scale due to water reacting with the carbon dioxide in the air to form the carbonic acid. A very clean raining sometimes happens here. Now these water molecules plus carbon dioxide molecules, they form these carbonic acids. Then again this carbonic acid plus more water molecule, they gives this aqueous carbonic ions and water, and that is what we call as a carbonic acid formation. Now here in this diagram you can see how acid rain works. Now, because of this transport vehicle, because of fossil fuel burning, lot of nitrogen oxides are released into the environment. Similarly, some industries they release sulfur dioxide in an environment. Now, both these gases, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen, this nitrogen oxide, they enter into the environment, and when they come in contact with the air, there is a dry depositions or particulate and gases are formed, and they react with the cloud where there is a lot of water droplets are there, and there is a light deposition of this acid over different objects. But if there is a heavy clouding, then these gases mix with the cloud and they form the rain, sometimes snow or sleet, and that falls over the surface on earth. So pollution at one place through the air flows to the different area and in the form of a acid cloud that falls on different geographical region. That is the hazards of acid rain. Now sources of acid rains are sulfur and nitrogen. These are the two major constituent of acid rain. The sulfur they form a sulfuric acid, and nitrogen source cause nitric acids. So sulfur source is from the fossil fuel. Same with the nitrogen, it is come from the fossil fuel, that is automotives and the cars, fossil fuel burning for the some electric generation plants they use fossil fuel. Then power plants, coal plants, all these are the source of sulfur and nitrogen. Residential combustions and denitrifications also leads to the production of nitrogen oxides in nature and sulfur dioxide. Then volcanoes and marsh gases also release sulfur dioxide. So forest fire also release nitrogens, and lightning sometimes burns and that releases the nitrogen. Human attributions towards the acid rain is human emissions of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide contribute to the acidification of rain because of human activity. Okay, what the vehicles and factories that produce these nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxide and leads to the acidification of rain. Emissions began during the industrial revolutions and remaining unchecked until the 1970s. Many people they didn't, even scientists didn't notice the presence of this acidic rain up to 1970s after the industrial revolutions, but later on they started detecting the change in pH of this rainwater because they observed the damage caused on the monuments majorly, and they noticed the presence of this acidic water. Then biggest contributor is the burning of coal. Till recently, many countries they are burning coal for electricity generation, and that is a major contributor for this acidic rain. Annual 70 um, Annually, around 70 teragrams of sulfur emissions comes from the fossil fuel burning, compared to 8 teragram from volcanoes and 2.8 teragram from wildfires. So this small amount of sulfur dioxide come from the natural sources, but because of human interference in the environment by burning fossil fuels, we produce around 70 teragrams of these sulfur emissions, which is very high. So we humans are more responsible for the cause of this acid rain rather than the natural reason of acid rain. Now, other sources of these acid rains are hydrocarbons, ammonia, and chlorine. Here, this water molecule react with the sulfur dioxide and produce this sulfonic acids, which then goes on accumulating the oxygen molecules and forms this uh, sulfuric acid, and similarly here they form the nitric acid. The precipitation or falling of this acid rain is through dry depositions, wet deposition, that is actually literally meaning of a acid rain, then occult depositions. Slowly the layers of this acid goes on precipitating. These are the possible remedies how we can reduce the sources of sulfur and nitrogens. Uh, if there happens or positive, we see the possibility of sulfur rain, that is a acidic rain, the reason is sulfur dioxide, then use of liming, then fuel gas desulfurizations can be applied, low sulfur coal can be used, and alternative should be found out to reduce the use of fossil fuels. Here for nitrogen also, low temp if you use that nitrogen emissions at low temperature, it reduces the nitrogen emissions. Then shorter durations can lead to the reduction in the nitrogen emission. Then catalytic converters can be used to trap the nitrogens. Then lead free gasoline can be used to reduce the nitrogen emissions in an environment, and you can find alternative ways for the processes where we release nitrogen in an environment. The coal power plant problem is a major problem. Already we have seen around 70% of this emission is through this coal burning. So burning coal is extremely cheap and efficient but dirty, releasing sulfur dioxide which becomes sulfuric acid in the atmosphere. And in our India, we have lot of coal mines. Even for generating electricity, majority we dependent on the coal burning. Even we import coal for burning. So there are more chances of acid rain formations because of sulfur dioxide pollution developed in India. So area downwind of power plant receives heavy acid rains. I don't exactly know the location of these uh, uh, um, coal factories in India, but if we try to trace the forest conditions in nearby these coal factories, soon we will realize that the deforestation quickly happens around these um, coal electricity generating plants, because nearby area where of this power plant they receive heavy acid rain. Smoke stuck built to counteract direct deposition of sulfuric acid only spread the problem. That smoke continuously goes on accumulating in the nature in the clouds, and that then deposit in the surrounding area as a form of a sulfuric acid. Now, what are the effect of these acid rains? Soil and vegetations. That soil become quickly acidic, and lot many microorganisms responsible for the health of soil get killed, and the soil become infertile. Vegetations get affected because of acid deposition on the leaves, that there is a yellowing of leaves and significantly reduce photosynthetic ability of all that vegetations. Forest, all the forest, if that pH of a acidic rain is very high, then the leaves get yellow and they drop down. They withered and they drop down, and forest become leafless. The naked forest you can see, and many people they thought that the plants or trees are dying, and they start cutting that trees. The major problem is the acid rain, which kills the leaves vegetations over the large trees, and we find that the trees are dying. that leads to the deforestation. Then water become very acidic, and because of acidic water, lot many microorganisms, zooplanktons, phytoplanktons in a healthy waters, live waters in a lakes and streams and rivers, they dies, and entire food chains in a water reservoirs stops. Though the water look very clean, but it is a dead water. Human health considerably get affected because of acid rain. Lot many skin problems develops many times because of more ingestion of acidic water in a body cause further health hazards. Wildlife get destroyed because of acidic rain. Then buildings, many structures and monuments in a country, they are made up of calcium carbonates, which come in when come in contact with the acidic rain that converted into gypsums and they flow away. So there is a lot of eruptions of walls, the terracotta material is generally used for constructions of old buildings that get washed out, and that forms a hole and a weakening of that every small part of that terracotta structures, and that way even in earlier days the walls are constructed using the lime, chuna, which when come in contact with the acid, that chuna converts into gypsums and they get to drain out, and so there is a weakening of the joints among the two bricks of terracotta, and that way the wall become loose and it get fall down. So that way also it affects the building structures, acidic rain. Then here not many things can grow in acidic conditions. That is obvious. Low pH and high aluminum concentrations can damage or kill fish and aquatic populations. So that's water reservoirs become very clean without any growth of algae or microorganisms or zooplankton or fishes. You will not see anything, but it look very clear, crystal clear. But it is a dead water, and there is no any aquatic population you see. Soil can be damaged by the hydronium ions, which mobilize aluminum and encourage leaching of minerals such as magnesium, which is essential for plant life. So this because of acidic nature, magnesium get withdrawn from the soil, and it is made not available for the plant's growth, and you will find that plants are not growing in that soil. Forests suffer from soil damage. However, most food crops are unharmed because of the nutrient loss are replaced by fertilizers. But still, that farmer has to spend lot many amount of money to fertilize their crop, and that increased fertilization is a reason of acidic rain. If there is no acidic rain, then the farmer will require very less amount of fertilizers because that nutrients remain freely available in a soil only. This is the view how that acidic rain affect to the forest. Now see, all that vegetation has fall down and remain the stock of the trees only, and these trees then slowly dies, and there is a that lead to the deforestation. The other effect are on the monuments made up of calcium carbonate, that is limestones and marbles, which react with acid rains to form gypsum. Even in India, the Taj Mahal, it is made up of that marble, and because of surrounding wheat bhatti, which is responsible for production of that terracotta bricks, and for making the terracotta bricks, they require a lot of coal for burning, for um, hardening that bricks. They burn that bricks into the coal, and that coal produce lot of smoke. That smoke leads to the production of this nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxides, which leads to the acidic rains, and a very these all weed butties are surrounding that Taj Mahal. And so a few years back that acid rains literally blackened than that marble of a Taj Mahal. So that is a very great impact of acid rains. Example you can see on a monuments that increases the oxidation rate of metals such as copper and bronze. So if you see any monuments made up of a copper or bronze and there is a raining with acids, just imagine what will happen, that copper become copper sulfate acid. When copper come in contact with the sulfuric acid, it will be copper sulfate and there will be eruptions of that monuments. How we can prevent this acid rain? A coal burning power plant use fuel gas desulfonization required reaction tower that extract the sulfuric acid by reacting it with the lime or limestone slurry and remove the product with scrubbers. But in India still nobody look after the modification of coal burning power plant system to reduce the to increase that desulfonizations reductions. Even in a lot many weed batti system is there where there is no such system is developed to remove the sulfuric acid from the smoke. These reductions in automotive emissions cut down on nitrogen oxides. I hope these new kinds of a vehicle are introduced from last year. That vehicle have taken care to reduce the nitrogen oxide emissions. Then emissions trading put into the practice to put economic incentive into cleaning industrial activity. This is a long back green credit system is developed to earn the credit by reducing the emissions, but no one seen taking care of earning that green credits. These are the websites from where we have collected all this information. So for more, if you want to know more about this acid rain, you can visit some of these sources to know about the more reasons and more impact and examples of damage of this acid rain.